Journalist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on the program.
A pleasure to have you here. And also, our in-house analyst will also be joining me this morning. And that is by the name Mr. Salman Salami, who is a seasoned journalist and the chief operating officer of the Citizen FM, to give us a couple of minutes. We'll be right back, and do stay tuned. And it's good to note that you can join the conversation this morning on 0903 2229 797 0903 2229 797. You can call in, and also you can send us a message on WhatsApp, and that is 0818 2222205 0818-2222-205. It is the big talk. We're looking at politics and also everything surrounding it. Like I said earlier, we'll be looking at the by-elections that took place over the weekend, and also Atiku's speech towards Tinubu. We'll be right back. Do stay tuned. And welcome back to the Citizen FM radio. As at Saturday, apparently 4.6 million voters go to polls as INEC holds by-elections rerun in 26 states. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is conducting by and rerun elections in 80 local government areas across 26 states of the Federation. Already, the Commission set a total of 4,613,291 Nigerians who have collected their permanent voters' cards are expected to participate in the exercise. The elections are conducted to replace members who died or resigned their memberships of the national and state assemblies, as well as rerun elections at designated constituency or polling units, as ordered by the election appeal tribunals. Now, according to INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, the elections would fill vacancies in not less than 3 senatorial districts, 17 federal and state, 28 state constituencies spread across 80 local government areas, 575 registration areas and wards, and 8,934 polling units involving 4,904,627 registered voters, out of which 4,613,291 PVCs have been collected. Now, states where the elections held included Ebonyi, Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, Akwa Ibom, and Anambra State. And others are Cross River, Delta State, Enugu, Jigawa, Katsina, Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Sokoto, and Zamfara. And they made sure to ensure a hitch-free exercise. And the commission collaborated with the Nigerian Air Force to airlift sensitive and electoral materials across to the designated areas. Now, the INEC boss who visited the Chief of Air Staff, Hassan Abubakar in Abuja, said because of peculiar challenges, the Commission would need the help of the Nigerian Air Force to deliver similar materials to states in the Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, where the elections held over the weekend. And now we see that INEC declares APC Shitu Ibrahim and others as winners of by-election. And here is a quick background to that particular story. The candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Shitu Ibrahim, has been declared winner of Saturday's Saki West State Constituency rerun election for Oyo House of Assembly. The rerun was conducted in Odo Oshun Unit 007 in Ogidigbo area and Ogbalanja polling unit 019 in Secretary and Backbone registration area. Now, announcing the results, the INEC returning officer, Professor Olushola Oyewo, said Mr. Shitu Ibrahim polled 13,850 votes to defeat Mr. Julius Okedoyin of the People's Democratic Party, and that is for Oyo State. Also, for the rerun in Nasarawa State, the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared Mohammed Adamu Omadefu of the All Progressives Congress as winner of Kiana State House of Assembly election in Nasarawa State. And also looking at Ondo, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Ifeoluwa Ehideru, has been declared winner of the House of Representatives by election for Akoko Northeast Northwest Federal Constituency. And for Cross River State, we can see that PDP's Ashakia wins Oban Liku rerun election for Cross River State. So far, so good, for the by-elections for...
When we are in the season of election. When we are in the season of election. So what the question I'll be asking is, did the people turn out en masse? Because every election, whether in season or off-season, did they turn out the way we expect? Because there is important that people participate effectively in such elections.
Okay. Apparently, voters' turnout was reported to be poor, and then also there was malpractice and violence were experienced, and this led to cancellation of voting in some centers. What exactly can you make of this?
You see, the election in Nigeria, we should now begin to see election as a project for national development. If we are still witnessing malpractices, we are witnessing low turnout, it means we are yet to be conscious of the fact that the peace that characterizes our election system is a symbol of level of development. So we must continue to work at ensuring that election is peaceful in the country. Election is non-violent. Election is participatory. People come out enthusiastically to vote during any election.
All right, thank you very much for that. Mr. Salami, thank you very much for joining me once again this morning. For the by-election and then the rerun election, it was said that voters, turnout was reported to be very poor, and then in some areas, some votes had to be cancelled due to malpractice and violence that were experienced. What exactly can you make of this when it comes to constant experiences in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much for bringing up this on the big talk. You see, election is a process, and the process must be owned by the people if we want to give true meaning to democracy. If democracy as defined is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then the people must be ready to own the process. There must be full participation or what I would call substantial participation of the people in the electoral process. And this is the work of the political parties and INEC. It is not the work of INEC alone. The political parties must embark on voter education. People must know why they must come out and vote. Because if you fail to exercise your civic right, and the people who eventually get to office are the wrong ones, you have yourself to blame. Of course, you have the right not to vote, but then others too have the right to vote. And if at the end of the day, the wrong people occupy offices, then you have yourself to blame. But again, the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, must encourage the people in such a way that people will look forward to participate in the process. How can they do this? By ensuring that elections are free, fair, and credible in such a way that the outcome will reflect the wishes of the people. That is when you can get the confidence of the people. Because if at the end of the day there is this perception that even when we vote we won't get the right result, you are discouraging the people indirectly. And another important thing I want to point out is this: Nigerians should not see election as a do or die thing, especially the downtrodden masses. They should not fight, kill, and snatch ballot boxes for the elite. In the final analysis, no rich man will fight another rich man because of a poor man.
Very true. All right. Do you have something to say, sir?
Well, what I want to add to what he has just said is the fact that election tells on the image of the country.
Okay.
Not at the global community, at the international community. The peace that characterizes democracy or election in any country is one of the things you assess a country's power or strength. So you are going to be looking for how people will be perceiving Nigeria, and we should be conscious of that one. What image is Nigeria perceived when we hold elections? Nigerians should be know that the image of the country is important. The prestige of the country is important. The power of the country is important. And so these are part of the hallmarks of a country that we want to see as a global power, a force to be reckoned with. So if election is peaceful, other countries of the world will begin to respect Nigeria as this is a country that you can, and so many things come under that. You understand? So beyond just looking at election as contest for power, it's also about our national image. It's also about our prestige globally.
Very true. Thank you very much for that. Now, quickly picking on something Mr. Salman Salami said about, the rich should not go and fight the rich just because of the poor. Political parties have been accused of disobedience to the rule of the game, which is free and fair election, because a number of times people get instigated to fight the war or go snatch boxes, based on certain things that they have been promised or they have been asked to do because you want this particular candidate to, win the election. Mr. Abdul Wasiri, what exactly would you make of this, talk about, political parties being accused of disobedience to the rule of the game?
Well, we are actually talking about the political culture. You understand? What is the political culture in our country? Is this a transactional culture? In which case you are looking at politics as for me to get something. Politics is basically for development. Politics is basically for transformation. Politics is for engineering growth in the country. So if we begin to look at it as a transactional something, we may not get the real basis of politics. It is beyond. I participate in politics, I gain this one. Politics is development. And so when we are looking at politics as a vehicle for development, a vehicle for improving public welfare, a vehicle for ensuring that our country attains a height in the global community, we are going to de-emphasize pecuniaries in politics. We are going to be looking at politics as something that will engage in for national development, for national growth.
Okay, thank you very much once again. Now, it is said that the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud, announced before the last weekend that the elections will specifically field vaccines in not less than 3 senatorial zones, and then he gave other states as Cross River, Delta, then there's also Ebonyi, Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, and Taraba, and so many other states. And then he assured that necessary arrangements had been concluded to ensure a hitch-free and credible election. Now, going by the number of states and polling units involved in the process, one could easily infer that nothing other than the best would emanate from the exercise at the end of the day, at least to make up for the shortcomings of the 2023 general elections. However, sound beats that attended the process from different states were an indication that more needs to be done to get elections right in Nigeria. And aside from complaints of the late arrival of INEC officials and voting materials to the various polling units, there were allegations of snatching of ballot boxes, violence, as well as missing result sheets, even as voters' apathy seriously underlined the process. Now, while there was desperation by the party in power at the various states to retain the election for their party, irrespective of the acceptance of the candidates by the people, the move to divest from that by other opposition candidates created crisis in the election in some areas. Now, while the elections were on, and miffed by reports of poor handling of the process, the commission announced the suspension of elections in some of the constituencies over what it termed an outbreak of violence and other glaring irregularities that marred the exercise. So now, it leads me to the question that, there's a high possibility that most of the results will be disputed in courts because of the mishaps, the experiences that occurred and everything that happened. Is this a vicious cycle? Mr. Salman Salami, please.
You see, election is a process. It is not a journey, it is a journey, it's not a destination, kind of. And there are so many issues involved in this. One, voter apathy. 2, ballot snatching, thuggery or violence. Who do we hold responsible for this? Is it INEC that will snatch ballot boxes? Is it INEC that will tell people not to come out and exercise their civic right? Is it INEC that will encourage banditry or violence? You see, it only means that we the people, we have not gotten it. That election is, or politics at the end of the day, is about service. Service to the people. Rendering selfless service to the people is an avenue for rendering service and not for personal aggrandizement. The moment election and public office is still attractive, the more we'll be having this type of vices. Let's make politics unattractive in such a way that only those who are really ready to serve, those who are ready to render selfless service will be attracted, and not the merchants, those who see politics as the surest way of aggrandizement, of lining their pockets.
True.
So that is one. Then 2, I still want to warn or plead with we the downtrodden. You may feel or say that yes, they have weaponized poverty. So that is why the thugs always do what they do. Even the amount given to you, is it enough? Will that win you away from poverty? Will that now make you rich? And in any case, is it not an insult for you to be given 5,000, 10,000 only to endanger your life? Is it worth it? Why can't you ask them that if you ask me to go and snatch ballot boxes, don't you have children? If you ask me to go and engage in violence, lead us. You lead. Honestly, it is not cheering. We are not. It's like history does not repeat itself. It's people who repeat history. It is erroneous saying that history is repeating itself. We are the one repeating history. Unless and until we begin to interrogate it and believe that politics must be practiced within the precinct of the rule of law, and that we must follow the electoral rules as provided by INEC. It is then and not until then that we'll be out of the woods. Election is not about making money. Politics is not a money-making venture. Erroneously, unfortunately, in this climate, and this is the hard truth, it's the most lucrative job. It's the most lucrative enterprise in Nigeria today, and this is sad. This is really sad. Okay. In the days of Babawolowo, in the days of Aminu Kano, even during Shagari, Presidential Shagari, it wasn't this bad. Politicians should strive at delivering the bountiful dividends of democracy to the people, and not to see politics as a means of making money.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that brief insight and also contribution as well. But then before we continue with more conversations right here on your own very radio station, let's take a very quick break. And also when we are back, we'll be taking calls as it is the half hour mark. And then, we can call us on 0903 2229797. Call us on 0903 2229797, and please do make sure that you also send a WhatsApp message to 0818222205 0818222205. Do stay tuned to Citizen FM 93.1. We'll be back very shortly for more conversations right here on The Big Talk. Stay tuned.
Here comes the People's Security Monitor on your classy Citizen FM 93.7, a program designed to serve as a platform to raise suggestions on how best to improve Nigeria's security system in collaboration with our security agencies and the citizenry. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon on 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja. Remember, Nigeria's security is our collective responsibility.
And yes, welcome back to Citizen 93.7 FM. It is the Big Talk, and I have with me two seasoned journalists and also a veteran journalist by the name Abdul Wasiri Solanke and Mr. Salman Salami. Thank you very much for joining me on the Big Talk this morning. Thank you. And, we're talking about the by-elections and the rerun elections over the weekend. And I said earlier, and I'll call it out again, the number to call to join the conversation this morning is 0903 2229797. 0903 797. And you can also send a message to us on our WhatsApp number, and that is 0818 222 205 0818-2222-205. And where we left off earlier before we went on a break, we're talking about the election, the apathy, how it poses, and also the struggles that comes with it. And it leads me to my next question, staying with the need for a popular participation of citizens in elections. Like we had stated earlier, there's always thuggery. We've seen it in past elections, and it seems like it's not stopping anytime soon, and it has become a very popular participation of even the citizens of Nigeria. How can citizens be more interested in the election process? Mr. Abdul Wasiri, please.
We must realize that election is a multi-stakeholder enterprise. It's a multi-stakeholder enterprise in the fact that no segment of the society is left out. If that is the case, are all the stakeholders involved or engaged in promoting the election? We should not leave election to just the INEC alone. We should not leave it to the National Orientation Agency or whatever. At the community level, there are associations, there are clubs. They should encourage their members to go out and vote. Everybody, no segment of the society should be left back when it comes to mobilizing for election, because election is mobilization. You have to mobilize, and because in this mobilization effort, realize that the society, everybody wants to get something from the society. So the level of your interest in what the society will do for you should now determine how much you are involved in mobilizing towards an election. So at market women, clubs and associations, NGOs, also civil society groups should be involved in mobilizing towards election. And it is in this mobilization effort that you now be counseling people. This election that we are doing, this is where we are going into this election. It is not a do or die affair. Let us participate in a way that shows that we are a decent society. If you are leaving election to just the political parties or few elites, you are not carrying everybody along. So we should take on, as my colleague has said, everybody should own election, because in election you are making a statement, it's a decision you are making. Whatever statement you are making is towards the development of your community or your society or your environment. So as a multi-stakeholder enterprise, nobody should be left behind when it comes to mobilizing towards election.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Wasiri. Mr. Salami, please, what exactly would you say that, how would you say that citizens can be more interested in the election process?
Well, my good brother has addressed most of the issues, except that power belongs to the people. Sovereignty resides in the people. And there is the need for voter education. They must know what is in it for them. Why must I go out and participate in this exercise? Why? This is where INEC and indeed all the critical core stakeholders come in. You won't go out if you know that there will be violence. You will not go out if already you are discouraged, that you believe that the electoral body will not do the right thing. You will not be willing to participate if at the end of the day you know that the dividends of democracy will not be delivered. These are incentives. But be it as it may, it is better to participate in the electoral process. Because for now, democracy is the best form of government. Is the best way of bringing government into being. Is the best way of stripping people of power, the power of recall. And until we learn and believe in democracy and we are ready to deepen our democracy, I don't want to say it, we'll just be running commentary. And running commentary, as experience has shown, is not helpful.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So, it leads me to the next question. As a nation, as a body, how do we make issues of policies, or better say, of politics and governance, interesting? Because this is Nigeria. We've been talking about the same thing over and over and over again, and we keep saying, "Oh, we're a nation, we're one body." We're talking about democracy. It is for the people, and by the people as well. How do we, as a nation, make issues of politics and governance very interesting, Mr. Salami?
Well, let me make a clear distinction between politics and governance. There's a difference between politics and governance. You see, politics ends after election. But that is not to say that political activities should not continue. But governance is facing the real work. That is, when you are politicking, you go to people with your manifesto. That is your contract with the people, social contract that you have with the people, that if you vote for me, and if I'm voted into power, I will do A, B, C, D. When you get into government, you now have to concentrate on how best to deliver on your campaign promises. And you should not play politics with that.
Okay.
Because you should not say, yes, I will not provide pipe bomb water to so community. Why? Because they did not vote for me. No. We have gone beyond that. For example, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a member of the All Progressives Party. But he's not the president of All Progressives Party. He's the president of all Nigerians. He's the president of all the members of PDP. He's the president of the members of Labour Party. He's the president of all Nigerians, irrespective of political parties. And he should not discriminate, and he must not discriminate, and I want to believe he will not discriminate. That being that, having distinguished between politics and governance, now the people too, because anybody who comes to you and gives you half bag of rice to vote for him is compromising you. Clearly that person is not likely to work for you. Whoever gives you money, gives you Maggie, is insulting you. It's insulting you. There is what I call the irreducible minimum, beyond which man cannot go. No amount of rice, no amount of Maggie, no amount of palliative can give you a good life. The welfare and well-being of the masses is the main objective of being government, and the government should be ready to deliver this. It is not too much of a thing to do. Make democracy functional. Let democracy work in such a manner that Nigerians will heave a sigh of relief and say, yes, indeed, democracy is the best form of government. Until that, it will just be what it is now for our people. Democracy is not working for now. That is the truth.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that one. Mr. Abdul Wasiri, what exactly would you say is the place of religion and ethnicity in our nature of politics?
Before I address those two issues, I want to quickly look at one thing. You see, your participation in politics is basically denotes your citizenship. So if you are not a responsible citizen, when you remove yourself from the political process, you are also not a responsible citizen when you don't see participation in politics as part of efforts at nation building. Because it is when you participate to ensure that you produce credible leadership with integrity, that you can be claimed to be a good citizen and or a good follower, and at that level you are a candidate for leadership as well. So if you do not prepare yourself for leadership by participating in the electoral process or the political process, then you are not a responsible citizen. Secondly, we all complain about the nation. You all complain about this is bad, this is not okay, it's not working. What are you doing? Participation in policies is also part of nation building process. It's part of reforming the nation. So the quality of your participation in the electoral process eventually determines how the politics will be. Now, let me now quickly address the issue of religion in politics. First, what is the role of religion? What is religion itself? Religion is supposed to make you a better person. Every religion preaches peace. Every religion preaches cohesion. No religion preaches violence, ordinarily. Religion is about improving the individual. So, our religion should encourage quality participation in politics, peaceful election. Ethnicity. What is ethnicity? If I'm going to use the yardstick of Islam, which I'm quite familiar with, Allah says in the Quran that He has created you into nation and tribes, not to despise one another, but to recognize one another. That the best of you is one that fears God most. So, whether religion or ethnicity is supposed to bring out the best in you to contribute to the development of your society.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that one. Let's take note that you can call the phone lines, and that is 0818 2222206 0818 2222206, and you can also send us a message on WhatsApp, and that is 0818 2222205, or call us on 0903 2229797 0903-2229797 to make sure you join the conversation. It is the big talk right here on Citizen 93.7 FM. And now to my next question. We're still talking about the by-elections and then the rerun election. Why do you think political leaders keep exploiting the narrative of religion and ethnicity in our politics? Mr. Abdul Wasiri, please.
Will I say keep exploiting the narrative? It is if people are conscious of the requirements of religion. Nobody is going to bring religion to exploit them. Let people also know the demands, the requirements of their religion. You cannot use religion to be exploiting people, because you cannot cheat Allah. You cannot cheat God. You cannot. Otherwise, you are going to be also offending yourself when you are using your religion to bamboozle the people. It is better for the citizens to also know themselves that this is the requirement of my religion, this is what my religion says about this, so that nobody is coming to use religion to deceive him.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Salame, what do you say?
Well, you see, what is religion, like my brother rightly pointed out, other than a means or a way of making you a better person, striving towards becoming a better human being. And if all religions preach perfection, quote and unquote, you will discover that it will be difficult for politicians to now use religion to their advantage. Rather, if people are well guided and properly guided, religion will even help in getting the right person into office. Because if the wrong person comes to you, a fraudulent person, a Yahoo person, somebody that you know that is not imbued with integrity, if he comes to you, in fact, you will not collect money from him and you will deny him. You will not vote for him. Because, you see, we can put religion into good use. Whether you like it or not, you can't run away from religion as an instrument. They will always take advantage of religion because of so many other things. They have weaponized poverty in such a way that our people look at political issues from the prism of what is in it for me, forgetting that it is not good for you to eat your tomorrow today. If you eat your tomorrow today, you have yourself to blame. Whoever comes to you with money or with inducement, he can never serve you. He is not ready to serve you. He's not going there to take care of you. In actual fact, you have been paid. And for how long will you eat a mudu of rice? Is that what will get your children into school? Is that what will give you affordable and accessible medical care? It is high time we begin to look at issues properly. That poverty is not an excuse for doing the wrong thing. In fact, it will add more to your poverty. Until we learn to do the right thing. Until we believe that we must do the right thing, not because they are watching us, not because of reward, but because that is the way of Allah. Doing the right thing is the way to go, irrespective of reward or punishment.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. Let's look at the final question for this morning, as we have little or no time on our side. Apparently, the National Assembly is currently looking at reviewing the Constitution, and what would be the areas you will like our lawmakers to revisit to enhance our electoral process? Mr. Abdul Wasiri, please.
Reviewing our electoral process. You see, there's nothing wrong with our the electoral laws. To me, in Nigeria, we are a people that are so vast and versatile when it comes to making laws, reforming laws. The issue is implementation of those laws, enforcement of those laws. Whatever we are doing in Nigeria, if you know the quality of thinking that goes into it, the caliber of people that sit down to make those laws, that most of the things about our laws in Nigeria, whether electoral or whatever, is fantastic. The issue is when it comes to implementation, when it comes to enforcement. And what we should be looking at is anybody that breaks the law or that goes against the law, do the right thing. Use the relevant provisions that serve the purpose of correcting, of adjusting, because everything has been done, everything has been said about how to do A, B, C, or D. In fact, in many instances, when we try to reform our laws, we further water it down from the ideal that has been provided. So the issue is the laws we have, let us always enforce it the way it should be, that nobody escapes it.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Wasiri, for that contribution. Mr. Salami, please, what exactly would be the areas you would like our lawmakers to revisit to enhance our electoral process?
You see, I will come to that. But let us look at the electoral process.
Okay.
You cannot reinvent the wheel. Let us dust the Waste report. Justice Waste has done a lot of work. The committee has done a lot of work on it. Like Mr. Waris said, it is the implementation. It's gathering dust. Let us bring it up and implement all that is contained in Waste Commission, Waste report. And apart from that, there must be consequence. Impunity has been the order of the day.
Okay.
The moment you know that you will face the consequence, you will do the right thing.
Very true.
And this idea of collective ownership of thief, if somebody has done wrong, but because it's from your village, it's from your town, you say, is he the first person to do it, and what are the thing is this: there must be consequence for wrongdoing, and there must be reward for excellent conduct. Unless and until we do this, we will still be in the woods, and may God help us. Yeah. We have been too long in the woods. We must do the right thing. Impunity has always been the order of the day. Common traffic rule. You see a big man, even when the light is red, they will pass. Why? Because they think and believe that they are above the law.
True.
And because there is no consequence. Impunity everywhere. Let there be consequence. Let there be consequence. And when there is consequence, I think we are on the right path to making Nigeria a better place and to deepening our democracy. It should be the rule of law and not the rule of thumb or the rule of man. No
Very
man
true.
should think that is above the law. We are all under the law, and we must abide by the dictates of the law.
All right, thank you very much for that take. Do you have something to say, Mr.
I just want
Abdul?
to cap it with a saying in Southeast Asia when they are talking about Singapore. They say Singapore is fine because it's a city of fines. You cannot escape any law.
Okay.
Singapore is fine. You see, Singapore is a beautiful something because the law enforcement is very, very strong.
True.
So, our enforcement is not about because we are in a free democracy, we are in a free society. When you don't enforce law as it should be enforced, people will go away with so many things.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Abdul Waris, and also Mr. Salami for joining me. Thank you for being a part of Big Talk today. And to our listener out there, Big Talk comes up by 8 a.m. right here on Citizen 93.7 FM every weekday. So do stay tuned. Catch us again tomorrow by 8 a.m. We'll be here to talk about trending issues in Nigeria. Topical issues, actually, whatever it is that's happening in the country, will definitely address it and also bring it to your ears. My name is Shaun Smith, and I'd like to tell my guest in the studio, thank you once again for being a part of this. Thank you. All right, do stay tuned for more. By 9 a.m. would bring your way the news on the hour, and also followed by some entertainment news and gist right here on your friendly radio station. Do stay tuned and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day.